And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Beer Battered Sports Podcast, the podcast created by sports fans for sports fans, because we believe that we are the most qualified people to talk about our favorite teams. I am your co host, Isaac,
And I'm Kylie.
and Calvin should be with us in about 15 minutes. He's going to be on a little late today, but he will be on today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, I was gone for past 2 weeks, right? Something like that.
Uh, One week, you were gone last week. Uh, But
Yeah.
people really enjoyed us having Gnome on, so we might just replace you with Gnome permanently going forward.
Hmm.
Yeah, good. Anyway, today we got an exciting show for you guys. We're going to talk about all the craziness from NFL Week 3. We will be talking about the run to the playoffs for baseball. I know somebody's team just clinched the playoff berth that they're very happy about. And yeah, we'll make our predictions for Week 3 of the NFL. For anybody wanting to know when we're going to make our predictions for the MLB postseason, do not worry. We will make those next week once the postseason starts. Yeah, we'll do that once all the teams have been officially announced.
Well, we'll have one game of the wild card under our belt before next week's episode. So I think we're just gonna do like a post it before the postseason starts. Like once everybody's official, then we'll post it
Yeah,
or
we'll
something like that.
dedicate next week's episode to a full breakdown of the playoffs.
Yeah.
We will give you guys our predictions early. Speaking of baseball, before we begin today's episode, we would like to express our condolences to the family of Orioles legend Brooks Robinson, who passed away yesterday at the age of 86. With us being from the Baltimore area, uh, Brooks Robinson was, well, there's a reason he's called Mr. Oriole. Um, Playing his entire career with the Orioles from 1955 to 1977, he was an 18-time All-Star, 18 straight All-Star game appearances from 1960 to 1974. He led the Orioles to two World Series championships in 1966 and 1970, the latter of which he was World Series MVP. In 1964, he was the AL MVP, but most notably, he won 16 consecutive Gold Glove awards, a record that has only been broken once by Greg Maddux, the Braves' legendary pitcher of the 90s. 16 straight Gold Glove awards. There's a reason he's widely considered to be the greatest defensive third baseman of all time. He was the Roberto Clemente Award winner in 1972. He led the AL in RBIs in 1964. His number has been retired by the Baltimore Orioles. He is in their Hall of Fame. He was named to Major League Baseball's All-Century team in 1999. And in 1983, with 91.98% of the ballot, he was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Rest in peace to Brooks Robinson, arguably one of the greatest players in the history of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he wasn't the most the most dominant offense wise, but even then he was still able to get doubles. He was able to run out grounders, and so it's
If
he was a damn good player.
he was not a member of those, if he was not a member of those Baltimore Orioles teams, I don't think they would have won as much as they did.
Absolutely not. People forget how good the Orioles were back in the day too.
Yeah, the Orioles
They
of the
were really good.
the Orioles of the 60s and 70s are arguably one of the best baseball teams ever. Like, just that whole lineup was Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, Jim Palmer, Boog Powell. Just, I mean, as a Yankees fan, I know they were our rivals, but I have to give all the
Respect,
praise
yeah.
to them. Yeah, all the respect. Um, and I will be rooting for the Orioles this postseason, because God knows I won't be rooting for the Yankees. We were officially eliminated from the playoffs over the weekend due to our loss to the Diamondbacks. And now with 5 games left, I have lost all interest to keep watching baseball. Convince me I should still watch, Kylie.
Because playoff baseball is so much fun to watch.
It is. It really is. But congratulations are in order for Kylie. Congratulations. Last night, the Phillies walked it off to clinch a playoff berth. Uh, yeah. How you feeling? What's the feeling going into the playoffs?
This was expected. Um, I mean, with the roster we have, we should be in this position. Um, and so I think our pitching is finally getting its act together again. because if anybody was watching earlier in the season, they were the only reason why we were winning games early on. So it's nice to see them come back at a perfect time in a sense, and our offense seems to always be able to rally. We were no hit through, I want to say, 4 1/3 innings, and then Marsh hit the home run, and so the offense seems to be resilient. The pitching seems to be getting its act together again. So hopefully this will be another uh, long October for us.
Yeah. The Phillies are probably, I think, out of all the teams that have clinched playoff berths so far, I think the Phillies are right up there as one of the scariest to face because not only is this team mostly the same core that went to the World Series last year, but they're pissed off. They want to go further this year. That they are determined not to make the same mistakes. And I think that's going to, in a large part, make them really terrifying to face. Um, Looking at the standings right now, so here's how the playoff picture looks for MLB right now. If I can just pull it up. Thank you. So in the American League, teams that officially eliminated are the Yankees, Red Sox, Tigers, Guardians, White Sox, Royals, Angels, and Athletics. The Twins have clinched the Central. The Orioles and Rays have clinched playoff berths, but are still fighting for who will win the East. And then
It's a dogfight.
Texas, it is. One of them is going to win it. And then Toronto, Texas, Houston, and Seattle are the final 4 teams who will determine who wins the final 3 spots. One of those teams is going home. One of those teams is going home. The West has not been claimed yet. It's either going to be Texas, Houston, and Seattle, but all 3 of them keep falling apart and then getting good and then falling apart.
It's like none of them won it.
Yeah, and then 3 of those 4, 2 of those 4 teams will be wild card teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and place my bets on Houston and Toronto to be the wild card teams because Seattle, I don't know. I'd love for the Mariners to go to the playoffs in back-to-back years, but I just considering how competitive the West has gotten, I just don't know if they can do it. By the way, Kylie, I can hear your cat in the background. She is snoring. Is that the cat?
It has to be.
My goodness. I wish I could snore that. I wish I could snore
I had
like
noise
that. That's funny.
cancellation on, so I couldn't hear.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. That's funny. I just was hearing that. I was like, "What is that? Is my dog snoring?" No, he's just over there. Wow. But anyway, what do you think, Kyle? Who do you think is getting in out of this? Out of the 4 teams left? Well, who do
Who
you
do
think's
I
winning the
think,
West?
or who do I
Who do you
want?
think?
Because everybody knows who I want.
Well, who do you think is going to win the West first, and then who do you think the remaining 2 playoff teams are going to be?
Oh, there's construction outside. That's also what it is.
Ah,
So I think who's gonna win it is the Rangers. But I mean, whoever wins this game between Seattle and Houston tonight is most likely going to. Well, if Houston beats Seattle tonight, they're definitely gonna. I say they have a very comfortable cushion-ish on the final wild card spot. But if Seattle wins, they're going to be a half game up on Houston. So it's. We all know I don't want Houston making it, but
no one does.
yeah. But I think if I'm taking bias out of it, I think Houston gets it.
I don't want to see them in, but I think they will. Although Seattle can do a big favor. New York, the Yankees can also do a big favor if we can knock off the Blue Jays here, which would open the door for both Houston and Seattle to get in.
No, I can't have that.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody wants that though.
No.
So we'll see what happens with the American League. Over in the National League, so officially eliminated are the, and I can say this because Calvin's not here right now, the Mets, the Nationals, the Pirates, Cardinals, Giants, and Rockies. I feel so bad for the Giants. They looked really good. Uh,
I don't.
all three divisions have been clinched. The Braves have clinched the East, the Brewers clinched the Central last night, and the Dodgers have clinched the West. So, parity, it doesn't exist in the National League.
No, it certainly doesn't.
The only other team to clinch a playoff berth is the Phillies, who clinched a wild card berth. The Marlins, Cubs, Reds, Diamondbacks, and somehow the Padres, despite having the exact same record as the Giants, are still alive in the playoff hunt. So,
It's
Kylie,
because of the matches. But if
ah,
they lose today, they're out. And I think Miami has to win. If Miami wins both doubleheaders, they're out. And they're basically going to be eliminated today.
fair enough. So the big question now is, who are your final two playoff teams for the National League, Kylie? Who do you want the Phillies to face in October?
If I want the Phillies to face in October, I want to say definitely not Miami. I don't want to go anywhere near Miami, but I don't think they're going to get the second wild card spot anyway. I want to say Arizona, but I feel okay playing either Arizona or Chicago. I mean, Miami's a half game out. Cubs are final, and then Diamondbacks are a game up. So I don't know, but it was really crucial for us to get that home field, which I will be at. I will not be on next week's episode. I'll be in Philadelphia for the game.
Woo! I wish you the
But
best of luck. You guys are
thank
most
you.
likely going to play what it looks like probably the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. And I don't want to play in Arizona, so I'm glad we got the first wild card
Yeah.
spot because that ballpark is horrible.
I am going to say the Diamondbacks get in. Having experienced them firsthand playing against the Yankees, he's like they're good.
Yeah.
And I think the Cubby. I'm going to go in on the Cubbies. I think that the Cubs are going to sneak into that last wild card spot. I'd love to see the Reds get in, but I think the hype has really died down around Ellie De La Cruz.
Absolutely.
But they'll come back strong next year, I think.
Yeah, they'll come back a lot stronger. They'll have the young guys will have the experience. It depends on how Miami does. They have a doubleheader today, which they are pissed off about.
Yeah.
So that doubleheader, I
Are they
mean,
playing right now, actually?
no, not that I saw.
I'm trying to see which
I
game.
looked up. I don't think there's another game.
Yeah, no, they play at 4. They play at 4 o'clock. Yeah, there's the closest game on is
Jeez.
Diamondbacks and White Sox at 2:10. Just in time. Guess who's here, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh, that background noise.
The working man joins the show. How you doing, 40?
Everything's lovely. I can't complain. Beautiful day here in New York. So, yeah.
All right,
Dude,
all
you are
right.
literally everywhere.
Yes, he is. Well, we're talking about MLB standings and who we think the final teams to make the playoffs are. 40. So I'll flip the question to you. I'll start with the National League.
Wait,
let's see.
before we go with that, shout out to Kylie's team, man. You guys clinched last night. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Good for you guys.
Oh yeah. So my question to you, 40, is this: first off, in the National League, of the remaining teams, Marlins, Cubs, Reds, Diamondbacks, and Padres, which two teams are going to the playoffs?
I like the Reds and the Padres. I say the Reds because I saw the Reds rally from a big lead. I mean, a big deficit last night. So I know that they are a team that can strive to till the end and come out with a victory on the other side, even with falling behind early in games. And then the Padres, they got so much firepower. Eventually, they got to connect it and get it together. So
They're gonna get knocked out today.
I mean, I guess that's what we'll see, right?
I mean, yeah.
I just can't. I can't go along with that. But
I can't.
oh my god, man! Like,
you always have to have 40 with his wild takes. We love that.
Fair enough. Then I'll go to you on this one, 40. For the American League, there are 3 playoff spots left It's either Toronto, Texas, Houston, and Seattle. Who's winning the AL West, and which three teams are getting into the playoffs?
Can you repeat the last team again? I heard Seattle.
Seattle, Houston, Toronto,
And Texas.
and Texas. But which one of them has to win the division?
Yeah, I think the Rangers will probably win a division.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rangers will probably come out with a division, and I think Seattle sneaks in, as well as man, that's tough. A lot of good baseball from all of those teams right now, so
Yeah.
that's very tough. I'm not sure who gets that last spot, honestly. I think the Rangers win the division. Rangers win the division. Seattle gets in. I'm not sure who gets that last spot.
I'm hoping Toronto. We can't have Houston in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not. I would like to see Toronto because nobody likes to see the Astros, but the Astros just seem to turn it on at the right time every year.
Every year. Every damn year.
Y'all gotta stop it. Yeah, you guys are frustrating me with this.
Yeah, how do you think I feel? I lost them in the World Series last year.
No, it's just it's. But the Blue Jays, man, like I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it with the Blue Jays.
No, we support the Blue Jays.
Gross.
Now, but let's get into NFL week.
Yes.
3.
All right.
3.
Week 3 already. We're 3 weeks into the season.
Crazy.
And yeah, a lot happened. So let's get the not interesting games out of the way first. Let me just sneeze real quick to get out of the way. So let me just quick rapid fire the games that weren't super interesting. San Francisco on Thursday night takes care of the Giants. Niners have now scored 30 points in all 3 of their games exactly, which I don't think has ever happened before in NFL history. Yeah, they scored 30 points in every single win.
30 points exactly on the dot. Like, they're not averaging 30.2 nothing. They're averaging 30 points a game on the dot.
Jesus.
Look, San Francisco is going to be tough. I mean, of the remaining 3 undefeated teams, I think San Francisco probably is going to be the toughest one to play against.
Miami is crucial.
Can we talk about that Miami game?
Hey, I told you guys about Miami before the season started, and I told you they'll lead their division and be the best team in the division. Even when Aaron Rodgers was still playing, I felt like Miami was the best team in that division. They just have all the firepower around them, and they put up 70 points without Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
So we'll jump right into that game then. So in the NFL entered its modern era in 1970 when the NFL merged with the AFL. And prior to the modern era, the last time a team had scored 70 points or more in a game, it had only happened 3 times. All pre-modern era. In 1940, during the NFL championship game, the Bears, pissed off that the Redskins were talking trash, decided to say, "Oh, well, might as well," and shut them out 73-0 for the NFL championship. In 1950, the Los Angeles Rams, who had arguably one of the greatest offenses in the history of the NFL, dropped 70 on the Baltimore Colts. And in 1966, in the highest scoring game in NFL history, the Redskins dropped 72 points on the Giants, but they had to because the Giants scored 46 points. After that, no team ever got even close to 70 until Sunday, when for the first time in modern era history, an NFL team scored 10 touchdowns in a game as the Dolphins put up 70 on the Broncos. Just when you think, for Broncos fans, just when you think you've hit rock bottom, which I thought was last year when they got blown out. It can't get worse. It can. I thought they had hit rock bottom last year when they got blown out by the garbage Rams on national TV on Christmas Day, on the game that was being broadcast on Nickelodeon, and they had the actor who played Patrick from SpongeBob on there, roasting
Oh, that was hilarious.
roasting Russell Wilson. Just watching
That
Brendan
was
Perna
hilarious.
I remember watching Brendan Perna's That's Good Sports podcast afterwards. Him complains like, we got roasted on national TV by a fictional fucking starfish. Yeah. Yeah. No,
No,
apparently that
but
wasn't rock bottom for the Broncos. What the hell?
no. Here's the thing, though. This really makes. I know how you feel about Sean Payton and the Saints and all that, and I agree with you. But I'm saying for this right now, this makes Sean Payton look like such an ass.
I was just gonna bring that up, Kylie, because of his Nathaniel Hackett comments. He looks like an idiot, a complete
Yep.
idiot. One
We
thing
saw
that
it happening,
Nathaniel Hackett
too.
never did was let 70 points get hung on him.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, at this point, it's just ridiculous, man. Like if your offense drops 20 points, you have a chance at winning if your defense shows up. And your defense sure as hell did not show up.
The tackling we saw in that game was some of the worst I have ever seen. I have
It's
never
awful.
seen tackling that bad before. I just want to say that was easily the most entertaining game, in my opinion, of week 3, just for the sheer lunacy of seeing a team drop 70 points. Was it a good game?
Yeah,
No, absolutely not. It was a horrible
it's a
game,
college
but
football game.
it was hilarious to watch, and I loved every
It
second of
was.
it.
hmm Like if I was a fan of the Dolphins, it would be my favorite game. It's a comfortable game. Like there's no shot you're losing.
Man,
They
There's
should
no
have been
shots you can just
disrespectful and
watch.
broke the record.
they should have really.
Yeah, Sean Payton deserves that.
He really does. And thank you
He
for
does.
reminding me. I should probably see if Devin Achane is available on fantasy, because I'm about to pick him up and replace my running back core.
Mike beat me in fantasy this past week because
I'm
of
3-0
that
right
Dolphins
now.
game.
Fans.
I lost to Rich
I'm
in fantasy.
1-2.
I'm 1-2 in both of my leagues, and it's not going well. But it's okay.
Yeah, you
We will
talk too
recover.
much shit.
I do talk shit. And let's bring us to the game where I
Which,
talk
by the way,
most shit. I don't want to get into this, but we have to.
go ahead.
Hang on, Kamara's back. Woo! I can put
Way
Alvin
to
Kamara in my lineup.
deflect.
So, yeah, let's go to the Monday night games real quick, and then we'll get into the other games. So first up, shout out to the Bengals getting their first win of the season. Although they should not have won that
Don't
game
shout that out.
because Tutu Atwell was out of bounds and the refs called him back. Just saying. Just saying he was. But the main thing we want to talk about Monday night was this. I talked a lot of shit, and I paid the price for it. So,
Yep.
Eagles and Bucks played. Bucks are my boys. Eagles are Kylie's boys.
We took
And
over your stadium
yeah, that was painful.
on a day you retire Rondé Barber's number and put him in the Wall of Fame.
Baker Mayfield showed you the real Baker Mayfield.
He did. He really did. And it look, I fully knew going into the season we're not going to be that good. I was pleasantly
Mhm.
surprised through the first 2 weeks, and I got confidence. I got hope. I should not have had hope. I will say this. We played classic Buck ball. It's an old saying my mom came up with back in the 90s when the Bucks were truly trash. They would always stay competitive in the fourth quarter, but every other quarter they would be trash. And that's what happened in this game. We were trash through the first half, and then all of a sudden we started to move the ball well in the fourth quarter. It's just Buck ball, classic Buck ball. I'm not going to say much on this game other than the fact that the Eagles are just way better than the Bucks, and we're at different phases, and our teams are at different phases right now.
Yeah.
I will say the Eagles offense should be scoring more points. I think you could
Mhm.
agree, Kylie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because 3 games in and they really haven't.
They're looking better every week, though. They didn't play. None of them played in preseason, so.
That is
And
true.
there's a new offensive coordinator. I'm not making any excuses. Hurts hasn't been the best ever the past 3 weeks, but they are getting better. And while the play calling is still garbage a lot of the time, they are getting better.
That is true. You guys are improving, and that is what's important.
Jalen Carter too.
Yeah, yeah, it looks
That
great.
defensive rookie of the year pick. And I know you agree, 40.
Wait, what are we agreeing on? Sorry.
Jalen Carter.
Oh yeah, Jalen Carter looks like a complete animal. You know, you guys know how I feel about the guy. Even though he's in my division, I picked him to be my rookie of the year on defensive side, and he shows me every week why I made the right decision in picking him as my rookie of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a beast. And I know people are, wondering about his character and all that, but he could not have gone to a better place. He has Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean, all there just from his teammates. And then he has leaders like Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Darius Slay, just on defense alone, helping him keep his shit together. Not to mention the command, the leadership that Hurts has over the team. Like and Kelsey and Mailata and Lane and literally the whole team. So he could not have gone to a better spot. I'm glad he didn't end up in a place like Vegas where they can't get their shit together for anything. Because who knows how crazy things could have gotten, but
Sorry, I just had to add Devon Chain to my fantasy lineup, and I did. Let's go. Yeah, speaking of Vegas, I get what Josh McDaniels was trying to do on Sunday
shit
night.
show.
Yeah, to be completely fair to Josh McDaniels, the way the Pittsburgh's offense has looked this season, he was like, I'm not going to judge him for thinking that the Raiders could have gotten a stop and gotten the ball back. But that being said, in this age of the NFL, you got to be aggressive and go for it. You cannot afford to just sell for a field goal anymore.
Absolutely.
I hate that we've gotten to that point, but it's honestly it's just the truth. You have to go for it in that situation. You can't just be like, oh, we'll be fine. We'll go for a field goal, get a stop, because you guys weren't able to stop the Steelers' offense, which is concerning because the Steelers' offense has not been good so far this year. But I will say, you guys hurt Jimmy. Jimmy Garoppolo has a concussion now and may not be able to play. You hurt Jimmy Garoppolo. That is a crime. Looking at some of the other games, let's see what we got. So Ravens lose their first game of the season to the Colts, partially due to a horrendous no call on pass interference, but also due to the fact that the Ravens just weren't really playing that well.
Yeah.
There was
I don't know.
missed in that game, though.
Yeah, that's true.
2 critical calls that were missed in the game.
Yeah, you hate to you don't want to blame the refs or ref ball or whatever, but these refs, they gotta start making good calls. It's just, I mean,
it's a case where it's gotten so bad that it's gotten to the point where I would not. What the hell?
what?
Somebody's dog or somebody is like rubbing against our door. You know what? I'll ignore that. We're in the middle of a show. Let me ignore it. Yeah, sorry. Somebody's rubbing against our door. That's weird. Anyway, so it's gotten to the point with some of these calls by some refs that I would not be surprised to see somebody just lose their shit and like put them up and swing on a ref at some point. Because some of these calls, it's like I don't know how I would be able to control myself. I see some of these calls and I'm like, all right, you're gonna do that to us next play. Oops, you accidentally oops, I didn't see you there, Mr. Ref. Sorry, I just decked you out at full speed. Sorry. It's like at some point, it's like, and I'm not. No, am I saying we need to fight the rest? No, I'm not. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if it happens because it's gotten so infuriating that it's like, okay, at what point is somebody going to lose their shit? You know, I've seen it happen at the high school level before, where a bad call, player gets a bad call against them, and they just lose their shit. Like one too many.
Mhm.
It's like in these high pressure situations that are NFL games, it's going to happen eventually. I mean, not even for a player. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing fans take action. Remember a couple of years ago during that Tennessee Ole Miss football game where the refs made a horrible call and the Tennessee fans responded by just throwing trash onto the sidelines and refusing to stop until they had to be kicked out of the stadium because they weren't going to let them play because of how bad the call was. Or Bottlegate. Like, I bring it back to 2002. The refs overturned a first down by Cleveland while they were playing Jacksonville after another play had been a run, which was against the rules. The refs did it, and Cleveland fans responded by like storming the field and chucking bottles at the refs. So they had to call the game early with 2 minutes to go because the fans started a riot. They were like, it's like, if the refs keep making calls like this, if we keep seeing bad calls like this that change the outcome of games, do not be surprised if something like that starts happening again. It is amazing that it hasn't. I am sitting here shocked. I'm like, dude, these are football fans that have clearly been drinking for a while. Everybody hates the referees for good reason because of bad calls. What it is genuinely a shock that we haven't seen like a player, a coach, or even the fans like lose their shit and start throwing shit. I know
Because
I
all the
would.
fans are fighting each other.
That's the thing. They want you to fight each other. That's the man is making us fight each other. Well, we can't even see the injustices in front of. Oh, here we go. Okay, where was that going?
You can see just. Dude, you and Calvin with your conspiracy theories and shit.
It's not a conspiracy theory.
Hey man, sometimes those things are right on the head.
That's why I love you both.
I'm just saying. Look, I'm just saying. If a ref makes a bad call and a fan storms the field and like punches the ref, no tears will be shed from me. And this is coming from the guy who watched his team one of his teams win a Super Bowl last year due to a call that was kind of. Sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up. Look, I'll admit, was that call flimsy? Yes.
Yes.
But it wasn't holding? Yes, but it was flimsy holding. So it could have gone either way.
It was flimsy holding, and there were much egregious things that were not called during the entire game. If you're going to let the guys play, you got to let them play.
That is true. That is true.
But at the same time, I hate Jonathan Gannon with everything in me. I blame him for the loss.
And that brings me to the Cowboys, the Cardinals. How you feel, Kylie, that Jonathan Gannon beat Dallas?
It's, you hope that neither team wins and that it is simultaneously the highest and lowest scoring game of all time. Just both teams looking like utter garbage. And while both teams did look like utter garbage, that Cowboys loss could really help us in the future. So, I guess that loser did one thing nice for us.
I was talking with Noam at work, and he said this. He said this about you, Calvin. He was like, Calvin said one of those games that we all thought was going to have the exact same outcome, surefire, was going to be an upset. I think you did say that, Calvin.
It happens every time.
I 100% did say that we would see the Cowboys get upset this week.
And I'll say this much about that upset. I mean, dude, this is where I got to go on a little mini rant here real quick. So, this is in relation to the Cowboys. So, looking at just cutting ahead to this week for week 4, Miami and Buffalo are playing. Miami is currently ranked number 1 in the NFL power rankings. Buffalo is ranked number 5. It is without a doubt the most anticipated matchup for the first quarter of the season by far. What time slot do you think this game is being shown on? Just out of curiosity.
Which game?
Miami and Buffalo.
1:00.
Yeah, 1:00. Regionally. Now, one has to ask a question here. Why do you think the NFL has scheduled a game between these two teams at 1 p.m. Eastern time, rather than I don't know, having them play like in a primetime slot or having them
Because
play
the
at like
Cowboys.
4:30. Yeah, because a certain team with a star on the side of their fucking helmet is playing the Patriots, the 1-2 Patriots at 4:30, and that needs to be shown on national TV instead of the Bills and the Dolphins in what should be probably one of the best games in the first quarter of the season. The Dallas Cowboys have been on primetime or in the primetime slot, in the late afternoon slot, every single game this season so far. Almost every single game last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and every year all the way back into the 70s. And frankly, it is time that we stand up and say, we're sick of it. All right? I don't want to watch this team anymore. I'm sick and tired of the Cowboys. I don't give a fuck about the Dallas Cowboys. All right? All this is doing is just loading the pockets of Jerry Jones and the NFL because they think that showing the Cowboys play every week is going to work for them. No, it's not. The only joy we get out of it is seeing the Cowboys lose occasionally, and that doesn't happen as much because the Cowboys are actually really good, and it's infuriating. It's like, for the love of all that is holy.
The thing is, they're going to lose again to the Patriots this week. They have two guys on that Patriots staff, on that Patriots roster that know the Cowboys playbook like the back of their hands. Ezekiel Elliott and now Will Grier, which was the backup quarterback.
So let's talk about this week's games.
Oh, all right. Well, before we do, does anybody have any thoughts on any other games this week? Because there were a few we skipped over here. I'll just do it.
No, I'm good. I can't talk shit.
Are you sure, Kylie?
Mm-hmm.
You sure you don't want to?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Well, I have some thoughts, so I'll just go over them quick. Browns defense looks legit, and that's scary. Lions got back. Lions and Falcons was disappointing, and I had high hopes for that game. I was expecting it to be a lot more exciting. It was not. Jordan Love. Very impressive fourth quarter comeback for Jordan Love. Very Aaron Rodgers-esque. Good signs for Green Bay. And thank you, Packers, for taking care of the Saints. It's just wonderful to see that happen. Jacksonville might have some issues going on right now. They lost to the Texans, lost big to the Texans, which is scary.
I actually was reading up on something the other day that said the Texans have beaten Jacksonville in Jacksonville like the last 4 or 5 times, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play really well in that stadium. Probably we probably should take that into consideration because we all took Jacksonville to win. Oh boy. Chargers Vikings. Somebody had to win that game, and despite the Chargers' best efforts to throw it away, Kirk Cousins threw a red zone interception. So
Kirk.
Yeah, I gotta ask 40. Are you still confident about that MVP pick? Just put that out there.
If his record can start matching his stats, hell yeah.
Fair enough. He is putting up good stats, I will say. The Jets continue to be terrible. That's really all we're going to say about that.
Pretends to be shocked.
And then the two other stories I want to talk about from this week. First, the Commanders' hot start came to an Indians Buffalo. Kind of saw it coming. We kind of knew. I honestly, to be completely honest, I thought it was going to be a closer game. I really did. I thought we would get I thought the Commanders would put up more of a fight, but also it's Buffalo.
Me too. Bad game for us, but hopefully that's the one bad game for us this season. Everybody has their bad games of the season. I'm hoping that is our one and only bad game of the season. Where we don't do anything on offense or anything. Well, actually, I can't even be too upset with our defense because our defense held these guys to 16 points all the way into the fourth quarter. They put up 21 points in the fourth quarter.
That's true.
Our offense not being able to score points all game is what caused us to lose that football game. We couldn't move the ball at all. Sam Howell had 4 interceptions. We just looked bad on the offensive side. And that's really been our downfall for years and years and years now, is us being bad on the offensive side.
Yeah.
But, I still got a young team, young quarterback, learning experience. So hopefully, like I said, this is our one bad game of the season and we can regroup.
Well,
I don't want to dampen your expectations.
I don't care that we have Philly this week. Philly Philly has not impressed me in the 3 weeks. Even though they're 3-0, they have not impressed me at all. Because,
They
like you
haven't
said
impressed me
earlier,
either.
yeah, like you said earlier, Isaac, they should be putting up a lot more points. I feel like they should have scored
Mhm.
40-plus points in every game they've played this year. So,
Hurtful since it was against the Bucks, but true.
so I just feel like if our offense can show up this week, we definitely have a shot to beat Philly because Philly has not impressed me at all in the first 3 weeks, even though
I
they're
agree.
3-0. And I'm not hating on them. I'm not knocking them at
No, I know
all.
you're not. No, you're not
Yeah.
wrong. You're not wrong at all. It's tough because I mean against Tampa we looked pretty freaking good. We just could not convert. We just couldn't get uh points in the red zone. I mean that was the issue. So hopefully that's something they work on. But like the defense has been damn good this year. So but your defense is also damn good this year. So it's a battle of two defenses, and it's gonna be if the offense can get it together for us.
That's literally our problem as well is can the offense get it together?
Mhm.
And it's like I I don't even know. I don't even know the words for it. It's disgraceful though.
That's fair enough. I'm trying to think. Was there any other thing that happened in week 3 that we're forgetting? Any like big, like groundbreaking thing in week 3? Is there anything something to do with one of the Kelseys? I feel like we're forgetting to talk
No,
about. I don't know. I feel like there's something like one of the Kelseys did something.
I'll be honest with you. That probably is the most annoying thing in sports right now.
that's
They
what I'm
mention that
saying.
more than they mention the football games. We were literally talking about Travis Kelce on Monday Night Football, and he wasn't even in that football game.
His jersey sales skyrocketed 400%.
And then you look at the demographics; it skyrocketed. And it's I honestly have no issue with this at all. I welcome the Swifties to the NFL world. My only request is that please don't be that annoying. Honestly,
They're annoying.
listen.
They're very annoying.
I'm gonna say this about Swifties real quick. I'd call them annoying, but then I look back and see what like fans of Michael Jackson were doing, what were fainting in his presence back in like the 70s and 80s. It's like, you know what,
Fair point.
Swifties, I'm not gonna judge because at least you guys aren't doing that yet.
It's
And
true.
that is a low flying plane.
There was this guy on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever, and he was like, ESPN. He said Monday Night Football is predicted it, guys, and it was a picture of Jason Kelce, Jalen Hurts, and DeAndre Swift, and it was like Kelce Hurts Swift. It was
That's
hilarious.
amazing.
Yeah.
This is just so annoying, dude, because it's just they keep talking about it, and I'm just like, come on. Even Adam Schefter kept talking about it. I'm like, dude, you're the biggest reporter. Act like it.
And the
Had to
thing is,
unfollow
too,
Schefter.
I understand that Taylor Swift is a very big monument thing to the music industry and stuff like that, but they're making it seem as if Travis Kelce was unknown before Taylor Swift, and it's like
You're right, they are.
Yeah.
This is one of the best. This is the best, if not. This is one of the best, if not the best, tight ends to ever play the goddamn game. And y'all are making it seem as if this man was non-existent before she came into his life.
Right. Welcome to Swifties.
Oh yeah, welcome, Swifties.
The most annoying fan base.
I will say this though. I actually kind of hope they stay together, just because Travis Kelce.
Me too.
If you look at Taylor Swift's relationship history, Travis Kelce is easily the best person she's ever dated. Because all the other guys just, except for that one. Yeah. I only looked that up because it was related to what we were talking about. I was like, I need a refresher. So hey, no, my dog just attacked my arm. You can't put your arms down around him because then he'll try and put his nose where it shouldn't be. I'm sorry. I'll pet you when we're done, okay?
That's hilarious.
Anyway, what can you not, buddy? Okay, I'll pet you now. Come here. Come here. Okay. Let's talk about week 4. So week 4 is coming up.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. What's up? What's up, Kylie?
Steve Cohen tweeted out saying our sincere apologies to the Marlins and their fans, didn't know they had any, for having to postpone last night's game. We know how important this series is to the Marlins, and every effort was made to get the field playable.
To be fair, it has been raining almost nonstop for the last, I want to say, last week.
Yeah, literally. It's all up the East Coast. I mean, it's here. It was in Florida when I was in Florida, Philly, New York. It's the entire.
I mean, I'm glad that it cooled down, the temperature down, and it actually feels like fall now. But
Yeah.
also, oh, he's a good boy. Hello, I know. He's a good boy. My dog is just being very cuddly right now. Anyway, week 4. Let's make some predictions. So, looking back on week 3 very quickly, congratulations to Gnome, who finished with a 12-4 record in week 3. Best of all of us, just beating out Calvin, who finished with 11-5 record. The only thing keeping you down, Calvin, was your Washington pick over Buffalo. If it wasn't for that, you would have been tied with Gnome for first. Kylie came in third with a 10-6 record, and I went 8-8. We're gonna have to fix that. Overall, in terms of our overall leaderboard, Gnome leads the way with a 20-12 record. I'm second at
Asshole.
29-19. Calvin, you are third at 25-23, and Kylie, you're a perfect 24-24. In terms
Hey,
of
look, I just predict. I just go with who I think will be the upset, and it never happens.
now, in terms
Always
of
try to have the hot take.
that being said, I've taken 2 of the 3 weeks so far, so
Yeah.
we'll keep up with that. But week 4, we got some interesting matchups. Gnome's not here this week, but I'm actually going to see if he can come on next week to replace you, Kylie, for that. Since you won't be here, so we'll have him back. But anyway, here are our predictions for week 4. So, kicking things off on Thursday Night Football, we've got a juicy one: Lions-Packers. Battle for first place in the NFC North. First matchup between these two teams without a Hall of Fame quarterback. Playing for the Packers since, I think, 1991. It's been a while. We'll start with you, Kylie. Who's taking this matchup?
I'm gonna go with Lions.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with her. I'm going with the Lions.
Give me Packers. No, I'm just kidding.
I think that Green Bay is going to keep this game very close.
Yes.
Because Jordan Love has looked really good through 3 weeks, and I think that's a really good sign for Packers fans. But I think Detroit right now, I think Detroit's going to win this one. Detroit's got a lot of pent-up anger. It's kind of like the first couple of games between Buffalo and New England after Tom Brady left, where the Bills just whooped them. I don't think they're going to whoop them, but I think it'll be close, and I'm going to say that Detroit gets the win. Moving on to Sunday, we got our first international game of the season. The NFL goes to London as the Falcons take on the Jaguars. Once again, Kylie, starting with you. Who's taking this one?
Jags.
Kylie's going Jacksonville. Calvin, who you got?
Yeah, I think the Jaguars get back on track this week and expose the secondary of Atlanta, and they'll get a win.
I think this game's going to be really close as well because Atlanta has been playing very well other than last week. But with that being said, Jacksonville just plays different in London, and I don't think that they are going to stand for being below 500 for much longer. So give me Jacksonville to get the win.
Also, this game is going to be Toy Story on Disney Plus. So I actually kind of want to watch it that way because it'd be kind of funny.
I don't know why they're doing it, but I'll watch it just to see.
I don't care. I love it.
Yeah. Moving on to Sunday's early games. Rams taking on the Colts. Matt Stafford's Rams trying to, with all of their young stars, taking on a Colts team that finds himself in first place in the AFC South for some reason. Kylie, Kylie, who you got winning this one?
I'm gonna go with Indy.
Really?
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
I just like what I've seen from Steichen and the Colts.
Calvin, who you got?
I'm going with Matt Stafford and the Rams. I think they'll get back on track this week. Sean McVay will dial something up to get his team in the end zone more than the what? Did they even get in the end zone?
Yes, they did score one.
Yeah, I think he'll dial his team up to get in the end zone more than once. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
I'm going to agree with Calvin. I think the Rams have both of these teams have looked much improved from last year, especially the Colts. But with Anthony Richardson still questionable, I don't know if the Colts will have the same luck they had against Baltimore that they will against the Rams. And I think that Los Angeles should be 2-1 right now. I think they should have beaten the Bengals had that touchdown not been overturned. So I'm going to go with the Rams to get the win here. Next up, battle for first place in the AFC North. This one, you know, it's going to be an ugly one. Ravens at Browns. Cleveland fans hate Baltimore for stealing their team. Baltimore fans hate Cleveland because, well, they're Cleveland. It's going to be an ugly one. Kylie, who you got?
Baltimore.
Baltimore? All right. Calvin?
As long as Ace on the field, you know who I'm going with.
I think that Cleveland is going to make this. I think this game is going to be probably the lowest scoring game of the year because both of these defenses are playing really well right now. With that being said, I think that Baltimore is just a little bit more talented offensively. They just need Lamar to not make as many mistakes. And I think if that's the case, I'm going to go with Baltimore to get the win here. But that being said, I'm very impressed with Cleveland. I just wish that their quarterback wasn't, a serial groper. Because it'd be so fun to be able to root for to fucking root for Cleveland, but we can't really do that. Winless teams clashing. Minnesota at Carolina. One of these teams is getting their first win of the season. Whether or not Bryce Young will play is still up in the air. Andy Dalton looked very good starting for the Panthers. I'm going to take the lead on this one. I do think, though, that Minnesota is going to win this game just because I don't think Kirk is good. I don't think they're going to start 0-4. Because if they start 0-4, I mean, only one team in NFL history has ever made the playoffs after starting 0-4. So I'm going to take Minnesota to get the win.
I'm rocking with my guy, Kirk.
Yeah, I'm going Minnesota.
All right. Cincinnati versus Tennessee. This is going to be an interesting one. Titans are struggling right now. Meanwhile, Cincinnati is also struggling. Two struggling teams trying to get back on track. Kylie, who you got in this one?
What was the matchup again? I'm sorry.
Bengals at Titans.
Bengals.
Who are we going with?
I'm going Bengals.
I think that Tennessee is arguably one of the worst teams in the league right now, the way they've been playing. I don't know how they beat the Chargers, but they somehow did. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati too. And that brings us to I don't want to talk about this game. Bucks at Saints. Yay, it's Saints week, my favorite week of the year.
I'm going Bucks.
Thank you. I'm not going to explain my pick. You guys know who I'm rooting for.
What did the Bucks play?
Saints. Derek Carr will probably not be out. Will probably be out because he has a injured shoulder.
All right, I'm going
that's
Bucks.
right.
As much as I hate to put my money on Baker Mayfield, I'm going to go Bucks.
I will not lose to Jameis Winston again. I will not.
Oh, that's right. Jameis is starting on that for that game.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Revenge game.
Yeah, I'm changing it up. I'm going Saints.
You're dead to me for that. I know where you live, Calvin.
No, you don't.
I don't. Kylie, you still sticking with Tampa Bay?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. You're my only true friend here. All right. The big game of the week, the one that should be on prime time, but isn't because the NFL is stupid and wants to give us more of Jerry. Dolphins at Bills. Two of the highest scoring teams in the league playing each other. Kylie immediately going Dolphins. All right, Calvin, who you got?
Give me the Dolphins, man. They just look too goddamn
Fins up
powerful right now.
They're fun to watch.
They are. This is a revenge game from the wild card matchup last year, and I'm also going to go with the Buffalo, yes, they have blown out their last two opponents, but I'm still remembering opening night against the Jets. I will go with Miami.
Yeah.
On the flip side, we don't have to predict this game, but we also do. We got a Reapus Bowl, guys. The two worst teams in the league, according to the NFL Power Rankings, are playing each other. Broncos and Bears. The Reapus Bowl.
Give me the Bears.
Kylie's going with Chicago. Who you got, 40?
I'm gonna be honest. Just mark me as a loss. I don't even know.
I will put that down for Calvin. Since I'm in it to win to win our prediction competition, and I have to pick somebody.
I'm gonna just. Oh Jesus Christ!
The more you think about it, the worse it gets.
Yeah, like, oh my God, I gotta go with the Bears. The Bears didn't get 70 points hung on them.
I'm actually gonna go with the Broncos just because.
Oh God.
No, hear me out. The Broncos offense actually hasn't been that bad. It's just their defense has been bad. The Bears have
That's
been
true.
shit, though. The Bears have been shit on both sides of the ball. The Broncos offense at least has looked better than they were last year. So I'm gonna go with Denver.
I can agree with that.
Moving on.
Dude, they traded away so many picks to get Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, and both of them are shit.
I think I saw like an interview with a Broncos player who'd been there since 2017, which was the first year of their of them just being bad. And
Derek
he's like,
Bowles.
yeah, Derek Bowles. He's like, I'm tired of losing, man. I'm tired of losing. God, we got to get that man out of there. All right, I want to see you two fight for this one. Commies at Eagles.
It's going to be a very, very close game. You know who he's going with.
Yeah. I'm actually rocking with Kylie. I'm going to take Philadelphia to win this one. I think Washington.
Who said I'm
gonna...
taking Philly?
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm going Philly.
Yeah, you're going. Of course you are. Now I think
it's going to be really close.
Yeah, I think Washington's going to play them really tough. I think they'll try and do the same strategy they did last year, just not giving them the ball. But at the end of the day, I think Philadelphia will get this one. But when they play in Washington later this season, don't be surprised if I pick the Commies to get the win there.
That's just the thing. We always beat them in Philly, and they always beat us in Washington.
They do.
Because Washington is Southern Philly.
Hey, Washington is different this year, though. They're getting sellouts.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see the crowd turn out this year because every other year, Philly just takes over that stadium. It'll be really interesting to see the crowd this time.
Put your bets on now as to who how many fights they're going to be in the stands.
Dude.
Our final game from the early slate on Sunday is going to be Steelers at Texans. And as good as CJ Stroud looked last week, I don't think he's going to do that against the Pittsburgh defense. So I'm going with the Steelers.
I'm going Texans.
Ooh.
I'm going Steelers.
All right, Kylie. Moving to the late games. Old classic AFC West battle as the Raiders take on the Chargers. With Jimmy Garoppolo out, I'm going to take the Chargers.
Yeah, give me the Chargers.
So we're all going with the Chargers on that one.
Yeah.
Cardinals taking on the 49ers. Can they keep the matchup going for their upset over Dallas, or is San Francisco shutting that shit down?
San Fran's going to beat the hell out of them.
Who's San Fran playing?
Cardinals.
Oh, yeah. San Fran's destroying them.
I want to see San Francisco score 30 points for the fourth straight week. Keep it going. So go San Fran. Patriots at Cowboys. Zeke's revenge game. You know what?
Give me the Patriots, honestly.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I'm gonna take Dallas, but I would not be surprised if New England gets an upset. Sunday Night Football. Oh, God, the ramifications of the Aaron Rodgers incident are going to be long for the league because Sunday Night Football is Chiefs at Jets. I'm just going to put Kansas City down for everybody. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, KC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gotta love the Kansas City Swifts.
Shut up.
I'm very curious to see how many Swifties go to that game just to see Travis play. Hey, I've seen the message boards. They think he's hot. Taylor, you got to hold on to him. Our final game of the week, man. Monday night, they got to get better. I see why they put this one on Monday night, but I just have some questions. We're in New York again. It's Seattle at the Giants. Geno Smith's revenge game.
Seattle.
Seattle by 40.
Yeah, give me Seattle.
Yeah.
Ooh, Giants. This would be an interesting game if the Giants were still playing like they did last year.
I told my brother-in-law he's always welcome to come be a Phillies or an Eagles fan.
Oh yeah. With that being said, that should wrap things up for today's episode of the Beer Battered Sports Podcast. Remember, this podcast is a proud affiliate of the Fired Up Sports Network. You can check out all of the other podcasts, especially Bell Smashers, because they're going to be very busy in the offseason. Follow us on all of our socials at @bbsports_pod and check out our x.com bio for our merch. I will continue to call it that until they change it back to Twitter because it is a stupid name. With that being said, we will see. With that being said, we will see you guys next week for our MLB playoff preview. We're going to try and get Noam back on the podcast to talk football because Kylie won't be here. Kylie, have fun. Have fun, Kylie, at the Phillies playoff
Hopefully, I'm at the game where we clinch and go to the NLDS.
Woo!
Because I have not been there for a celebration yet. So hopefully, this time I will be.
And before we go real quick, Kylie, how was watching Messi in person?
Dude, amazing.
There we go.
Only half an hour, but it was amazing.
That's awesome. All right. We will see everybody next week. Peace.